Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It is May 20th, 2017 at 12:36 p.m. in Toronto. I have just gone through a very traumatic experience, and I say just, um, and that's because it seemed to be recent when really it's not that recent. It was over a year ago. And I am experiencing the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. And I thought I'd share with you my journey to get over this this trauma. It's not disabling me from living my life. However, it's definitely something that I need to cope with. So I'm going to read an article for you that will hopefully help others out there um, who have gone through similar experiences to cope. So this article is on the www.martinvcohen.com website, and he is a PhD, and it's a psychological counseling corporation. So that's Martin V. Cohen, PhD and Associates. 10 Steps to Healing from Trauma by Martin V. Cohen, PhD. So whether you have been a crime victim involved in an accident or natural disaster, or whether the victim of childhood abuse, the resulting trauma is similar. Pervasive fear and feelings of helplessness, unnatural reactions to events you probably had little or no control over. I was totally traumatized and I thought I was going to die are among the most often used phrases used to describe such occurrences. And this is true for me, from my experience. Unfortunately, I really thought I was going to die. Unfortunately, trauma and the stress that follows is on the rise at the turn of a new millennium in America. Fortunately, there are ways to overcome the aftershocks of traumatic incidents. Aftershocks, that's a very key word there. A cluster of symptoms consisting of persistently re-experiencing the event, which are flashbacks, nightmares, etc. Avoidance, avoiding people, places, or activities that trigger memories of what happened. Hyper arousal, jumpiness, feeling on edge, irritability, etc. can be treated effectively with the following steps towards healing this condition. In 22 years of practicing psychotherapy, specializing in treating trauma victims, I've seen them work. Number one, recognize that your symptoms are normal reaction to abnormal circumstances. Although you may feel like you're out of control or going crazy, in reality, you are experiencing what are called post-traumatic stress symptoms. Number two, talk about your thoughts, feelings, and reactions to the events with people you trust. I'm actually in therapy. Then talk about it some more. Keep talking about it until you have no need to talk about it anymore. In fact, I actually talk to myself sometimes in front of a mirror or in front of the computer with the camera running, and then I listen to myself. Do whatever it takes to create a feeling of safety and tranquility in your immediate environment. And this is very important. This is something I don't have right now. And by that I mean there is constant triggering outside my window. And that could be stopped, and I'm working on that getting stopped by the person who's doing it. However, the person who's doing it is trying to get me removed, when actually the person who's doing it should be the one to be removed. Should be removed. Do you need to sleep with a night light on for a while? I'm just reading here. Can you develop a discipline of meditation or listening to soothing music, which I do? As much as as much and as quickly as possible, resume your normal activities and routines, which I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find work. Traumatic events can throw your life into a state of chaos. The sooner you resume these activities and routine, the more normal your life will feel. Structure can provide feelings of security as you etch your way back to stability. Number 5, you're in a recovery process. Give yourself the proper rest, nutrition, and exercise, which I'm doing. If you are recovering from the flu, you would not forget these health tips. Do the same for yourself as you recover from traumatic stress. Number 6, take an affirmative action on your behalf. For example, if you were a victim of crime, prosecuting the perpetrator may be an empowering experience. And this is something that was robbed off me, and I'm not going to go into details. I wanted a case to be acquitted, and it turned out that although there was basis for acquittal, it didn't happen that way. If this is not an option for you, write in your journal. Strike out at the perpetrator with words. Take some action on your behalf. Become aware of your emotional triggers and learn to cope with them creatively. You may have a flashback to your trauma by engaging in a similar activity, going to a similar place, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or feeling something that reminds you of the original trauma. One way to cope with this is to recognize that you're experiencing an emotional trigger and engaging positive self-talk. This is frightening, but I'm safe now. I do a lot of self-talk. Try to find out some deep meaning in what happened to you. True, you were victimized, but you can become a survivor. Survivors often find that changes in their outlook on life are possible, even preferable. What have you learned from your traumatic experience? Record these insights in a journal or voice them in a support group that is sympathetic to your situation. Seek therapy, which I'm in. Psychotherapy, particularly with a certified EMDR practitioner who specializes in trauma, is often very effective in helping people overcome the aftermath of trauma. If you can't stop thinking about what happened, if you're always feeling anxious and on guard, if you find yourself avoiding your normal routines, or if you're experiencing some of the other symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, you can probably benefit from this professional help. 10, be patient with yourself. Healing takes time. Your recovery will have its ups and downs. Follow the guidelines of this article and know that you are in a recovery process and will take time. Remember, you may have been victimized, but you do not have to continue being a victim. I absolutely refuse to be a victim. In this unfortunate case, you were rendered helpless, but to continue in that status is very limiting. By following the steps outlined above, you will emerge as a survivor. Your traumatic experience can make you a stronger and wiser person. Definitely does. The potential is there for you to learn and grow in ways you may not have considered had the trauma never occurred. Very, very interesting article.